All right, so UFC 323 just finished. It is in the bag. The UFC era on ESPN is over. It's finished. Pay-per-view is also dead because going forward, the free-to-air on Paramount. Anyway, let's talk about the fights because top to bottom, as always, with the pay-per-views, pay-per-view or not, whatever they are, numbered events going forward, they're always sensational. And tonight we've got a lot of stuff to break down. Of course, there is a new bantamweight champion of the world. That man's name is Petr Yan. What a fight that was with Merab Dvalishvili. And we've also got a new flyweight champion of the world, which ended in a shocking circumstance. But before we go into the main card, there's a few things on the prelims that need a shout out. Number one, Jalin Turner, the tarantula. He came back from a brief retirement, came back and absolutely butchered Edson Barboza. We all love Edson Barboza. The man's a legend of the sport. He's 38 years old. He's no spring chicken. Jalin Turner is a dangerous man, and tonight he looked in his finest form ever. I'm telling you, the breakaway certainly did him good. Got a first round stoppage. We saw one of the craziest fights before that with Ivo Aslan versus Ivo Baranowski. I think that's how you say it. I don't know how you say it, but what I do know is that we got 90 seconds of sheer madness. Ivo gets dropped. Then he beats the crap out of Baranowski. Then Ivo gets dropped again. The pair of them just went back and forth, beating the absolute crap out of one another. Of course, Ivo Aslan went down 90 seconds, 1 minute 29, just under 90 seconds. 89 seconds to be precise. We saw Mansour Abdul-Malik get a first round knockout in just over 1 minute, 1 minute 9 seconds over Antonio Tricoli, and Mario Santos knocked out Mohamed Naimov in the third round at 21 seconds. So the early prelims were ridiculous. Faraz Ziem stopped Nazim Sadikov in the second round. Macy Barber beat Karine Silva via decision, and Chris Duncan versus Terrance McKinney, that was always going to be a mad one. That was always going to be a crazy fight, and I'll tell you what, Chris Duncan, as well as being the fastest sheep shearer in all of Scotland, once upon a time, that was his title.
Believe it or not, I was a shepherd, I was a farmer.
He's got to be one of the toughest bastards alive because Terrance McKinney went out, just like always, and put a beating on him. I'm telling you, other men, lesser men, would have gone down, would have been knocked out, but he weathered the storm. He took the beating and came back. He landed some shots, almost knocked out Terrance McKinney, and then got the anaconda choke at just 2 minutes, 30 seconds. So fair play to him, and fair play to Manuel Torres, knocking out Grant Dawson. We didn't see any wrestling in this fight. Grant Dawson typically shoots, takes people down, controls them, great ground and pound. He's an excellent fighter, but Manuel Torres knocked him out. So the prelims, if you skip the prelims, you missed out. They were sensational. Anyway, with all that said, let's get into the main card. Opening up the pay-per-view, Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. This one went to a draw. 29-28 across the board. They all gave Jan Blachowicz the first round. They gave him the second round, but they gave Bogdan Guskov a 10-8 in the second round, which, to be honest, probably was the right score. In the second round, Bogdan dropped Jan, dropped him, got on top, ground and pounded him for a while, did a lot of damage, opened him up. There was blood all over the face. Jan was thinking about a heel hook for a second here or there, but whatever, got back up in the third round and got back to work. Pressured him, walked him down, landed some good shots, kept him honest, won a 10-9 in round one, won a 10-9 in round three, and lost a 10-8 in round two. And I just feel for Jan Blachowicz, because remember, Jan Blachowicz, last time out, and remember, he's no spring chicken himself, 42 years old, okay? Goes out there as a really good fight against a top contender, a surging young prospect like Bogdan Guskov, and loses by way of decision, okay? But before that, he lost to Carlos Ulberg, who's probably going to get a title fight, in a fight that he feels that he should have won, which was really close. And then before that, against Alex Pereira, again, same thing on the wrong side of a decision where he felt he should have won. And then against Magomed Ankalaev, when he was fighting for the belt, he kind of got unlucky there as well. That also went to a draw. Anyway, the next fight did not go to a draw, and neither did any of the others. Payton Talbott went out there and beat the crap out of Henry Cejudo. It is the last time we will see Henry Cejudo ever competing in the UFC. What a career that man has had. He really has. Call him the king of cringe. Call him whatever the hell you like. You cannot doubt the entertainment he has brought to the UFC, combat sports, the wrestling world over the years. It has been sensational. And tonight was no different. Listen, Payton, obviously much younger, much bigger as well. The better striker, picked him apart, looked comfortable, got an inside trip, took him down. It was kind of embarrassing at times for Henry Cejudo because he is the gold medal, the Olympic gold medalist, right? He was taken down. He was kind of beaten at his own game, but he was picked apart and stuff, but he kept him honest. He never gave up. He fought tooth and nail to the very end. He kept the pace. It was a great fight. The whole crowd were on the feet. He got a nice package. He got a great send-off. He's had an awesome career. Henry Cejudo, I salute you, man. Fair play. Well done on changing your family's life, on maximizing your time in the UFC, becoming a two-weight division champion, knocking out the likes of TJ Dillashaw, beating Demetrius Johnson, Dominic Cruz, a two-weight division champion, an Olympic gold medalist. What more do you want? At some point, you got to walk away from the sport. And of course, at 38 years old, maybe that's why he's slowing down. Maybe that's why he's lost 4 in a row. In fact, it is. It's not maybe. That's what happens. You get older, you slow down. Simple as that. Payton Talbott, this man is for real. He has got a very, very bright future. Speaking of futures, is it the end of the championship discussions for Brandon Moreno? Because he went out there against Tatsuro Taira and lost in the second round. He got stopped by punches, okay? Started off pretty good. Tatsuro Taira went out there, shot for a takedown. Moreno got an inverted triangle for most of round 1. Not a lot happened. Then in the second round, Taira looked fast. He looked sharp. I'm telling you, I've been high on this guy for a while. Yes, he has 1 loss on his record to Brandon Royval, but that's a fight where he will have learned from, will have improved and got better. You know, whenever you make mistakes, you say you don't lose, you just learn. It seems like he did. He looked fantastic in the second round. Picked him apart, got a takedown, landed in the mount and just battered Brandon Moreno. Brandon turned away, gave up the back, but it was just a barrage of punches for Tatsuro Taira. And he's probably going to be next fighting for the belt in the flyweight division because, of course, if Alexandre Pantoja had beaten Joshua Van, he would need new challenges. But he didn't. Alexandre Pantoja lost. This one ended in just 26 seconds. It was done. It was over. This was his 5th title defense. The man's incredible. I predicted Pantoja to win this fight. I thought he would go forward, get a hold of him, take him down, get the rear naked choke when he's taking the back. But of course, that's not what happened. The fight started. Pantoja went forward with his signature aggression, throwing some shots, throws a head kick, which kind of connects but like lands on the shoulder. Joshua Van forces him backwards as he's going down. He posts. Just kind of like it was, I believe it was Shogun against Mark Coleman in Pride back in the day. Puts his arm out to catch himself. He posts, that's what we call it, and blows his elbow out. I saw some discussion on Twitter. Maybe it was the elbow, it was the shoulder. Listen, in slow motion, it was the elbow. You could see it moving around. And as he's walking out the octagon, he's holding his elbow. So
it's not just about myself today. It's about Joshua Van, you know. Joshua Van, that's his destiny to win this belt tonight. And he just can win this belt with my injury. I want to work very hard. I work very hard all my life. And I'm going to work again. And I'm going to take my belt again.
It's a really, really sad circumstance for Alexandre Pantoja, given the career that he's had, given the fact that it was his 5th title defense, to lose the belt like that. Listen, it kind of sucks for Joshua Van. In fact, no, it doesn't. The man is 24 years old and he's now the champion of the world. You take that win regardless of however it comes your way. Knockout, submission, decision, freak, elbow blowing out from posting, it doesn't matter. You celebrate the fact that you are the champion of the world, and he wasn't there by accident. He earned it the old-fashioned way. Simple as that. Fair play to that guy. Pantoja, 35 years old. You have to think, if he was younger, would that have happened? By the way, I'm not saying he's damaged goods. He is damaged goods. I'm not saying he's damaged goods in terms of his fighting career, though. I'm not saying that I think he'll be back, but he'll be out for a little while. That's gonna need surgery, probably for sure, I would say. I'm no doctor, but anytime I see that shit going on, I don't know what's happening in there. It looked like it dislocated. He might have tore some tendons. He's going to be in a lot of pain tomorrow. He's going to be seeing a doctor, probably going to have surgery. And I hope we see him again this year. Maybe if we do, it's going to be towards the end of 2026. So it's really, really bad luck for Alexandre Pantoja. But a good set of circumstances for Joshua Van, the new flyweight champion of the world. And as I said, and as Joe Rogan said on the microphone, he's going to be fighting Tatsuro Taira. So that's going to be the next fight. Of course, Tatsuro Taira, he lost to Brandon Moreno, but Joshua Van has beaten Brandon Moreno. He's going to need someone to take on because it ain't Brandon Moreno because he just got stopped by Taira. So Taira versus Joshua Van, that will be coming up sometime in 2026 on Paramount TV. And you're going to get it for free. But guess what? People on Twitter are still going to bitch. They're still going to talk shit because that's just what they love to do. Anyway, let's get to the main event. This was fantastic. This was a fight for all the ages. This was a performance and the type of fight that makes you proud to be an MMA fan because we saw two guys in Merab Dvalishvili and Petr Yan go at it balls to the wall. What they did, that show that they put on was spectacular in every way. Technically, amazing. A lot of action, blood, guts. We saw it all. And of course, Petr Yan was victorious. Merab Dvalishvili was trying to defend the belt for 4 times in a calendar year, which is crazy. It's incredible. But I did say a while ago that maybe he might be his own worst enemy because you have to respect the process. You have to respect how arduous this is on your body. Okay, going through the training camps and the fights and doing it so quickly, okay, it comes at a cost. Now, don't get it twisted. I am not taking away from Petr Yan's victory. Petr Yan was brilliant. He was clinical. He was precise. He picked him apart. He landed shots. He hurt him. He stopped takedowns. He got takedowns of his own. When he was taken down, he got straight back to his feet. And the shots that he landed, they were beautiful. He picked them. They were deadly. Boom. Right hands. The jabs were money. The body kicks. Holy shit. At one point, he kicks him in the body. And Merab's like, ah! Visually and audibly hurt. Okay. Screaming in pain. Yan saw that. Went back to the body again. Kept ripping to the body. Throwing head kicks. Landing the shots. Busting him up all over the place. The eyes were cut. The nose was bent. Right. It was a beautiful performance. And Merab kept him honest. Merab pushed the pace the whole time. But Yan stayed there. He didn't slow down. He didn't get tired. He didn't get weak. Over 5 rounds, he was the better man. It was a very, very entertaining back and forth matchup. Simple as that. It really was. Merab said, I want another shot at that. I want a rematch. I want to run it back.
Congratulations to him, but I want a rematch. I want to run it back.
I don't know if they're going to do it straight away. And that seems crazy because, of course, he defended the belt so many times in a calendar year. The man was entertaining. He did stop Sugar Sean O'Malley. But speaking of Sean O'Malley and the rest of the division, they're all probably rubbing their hands right now because for a lot of people, we saw it. Nobody could stop Merab. And maybe that's why he was taking all these fights in quick succession because he was just so high on confidence. We got to remember, we are only human beings. Merab, as phenomenal as he is, as great as the gas tank is, as much of a machine that he really is, you know, it's the perfect nickname for him, as much of a machine that he is, as Petr Yan said at the press conferences, sometimes machines break.
I shouldn't be impressed by that. I mean, if it works for him, great, good for him. But just remember, any car is bound to break at some point.
Right, and I'm not saying that he necessarily broke, but tonight the machine didn't get it done, okay? He didn't pass the test. The new champion of the world is Russia's Petr Yan. Once again, okay, and new, of course, but this is not the first time he's been the champion. Sugar Sean O'Malley's beaten him. Other people have beaten him. So as I said, there's a lot of people in that division now that are like, okay, whew, the bogeyman, Merab Dvalishvili, the crazy Georgian is out of the situation for a while because remember, Aljo beat Petr Yan. Yes, okay, there might have been some Oscars getting handed out. Maybe Sean O'Malley beat him. And of course, Merab Dvalishvili beat him as well. So there's a few people that have beaten Merab. But Merab probably deserves the rematch, if we're being honest. If you look at the body of work, then yeah, he probably does. But there's Umar Nurmagomedov out there. I would say, let Yan defend for a minute. Take a break, brother. Have a little bit of time off. You've done incredible things. You've no doubt earned a tremendous amount of money. You've represented your country at the highest level, and you have put yourself through it. Have 3, 4, 5 months off. Rest on your laurels. Reap the rewards of your riches and your spoils, okay? Relax. Take a break. Let the body and the mind relax a little bit. Then come back and look to take your throne. And in the meantime, let Petr Yan fight Umar Nurmagomedov. Anyway, there's my thoughts on UFC 323, which just went down. I've had a crazy day today. This morning, Lucas was wrestling. He had a big tournament. He got a medal. I was very proud of him. It was a 2-day tournament. We were at the bloody wrestling hall for 2 days, okay? Great young men. What these young wrestlers do is phenomenal. And the sacrifice that they make, and they train so bloody hard. I'm telling you, it's incredible. And I'm from England. We don't have wrestling in schools in England. We need to change that. They need to get wrestling in schools in England and anywhere else where they don't have it, because some young men don't want to play football. Some young men need a bit of combat in their lives. They should put wrestling in UK schools. Anyway, Lucas got a medal. Very, very proud of him. So I was there all day Friday, all day Saturday. Got back at 4 o'clock, and then Callum, my firstborn, had his mixed martial arts debut tonight. He had his first fight. It was only an amateur fight. He had it at heavyweight, went out there and dominated the fight from start to finish. Extremely proud of him. Used his wrestling, got on top, almost finished him on multiple occasions, had the rear naked choke, but the guy that he was fighting was a big, tough son of a bitch. He really was. Landing some great shots from ground and pound, but didn't get the finish, but certainly got a very, very dominant victory. So very proud of Callum. Congrats to him. Anyway, let me know what you think about everything that I said. UFC 323 certainly was one for the books. That's it. That's the end of the era. Pay-per-views are done and dusted, or are they? Maybe they come back for some special ones. Maybe they do it at the White House, or maybe some special one-off events. I don't know. Dana White even said himself, pay-per-view isn't dead, but the typical format that we have every single month, with it being a pay-per-view, that is done. That is dusted. That is over. That's dead. That's down the road. It's kicked the can, whatever you want to call it. And so is ESPN. ESPN, it's been a pleasure to be on your airways. It's been a pleasure to work for you. Met some great people along the ways as well. So thank you for having me. That's it. That's the video. It's very late here in California. I'm going to bed. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. See you soon.